everybody, Basket here. Welcome back to TIS-100, a programming game. So let's look at our next puzzle. So this is exposure mask viewer. Weird. SP did it in 4 cells with 43 lines of code. Okay. So what are we doing here? Ooh, this is interesting. Okay. Read an X value in. Okay. Read a Y value in. Okay. Read a width value from in. Okay. Read a height value from in. Okay. Draw a rectangle of that size at the specific location. Okay. So it's giving me X, Y, width, and height. So the width is, so it's going to be 2 different loops. And then starting with the X spot. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, the first 2 values, I just need to get down there. And then I'm going to do a loop of the other stuff. So do we want to just get back to, let's start with our previous, oops, I hope I clicked the right thing. So we want to, let's go back to this one. And we want to start with this. This already has a nice loop going. Save us a little bit of time. Okay, so we're in here. So I guess to start, so we'll just throw this over here for now. So to start, the first 2 is going to just be move right. I'm sorry, move up, right. Move up, right. This is move left. I can get eventually. There we go. Down. And then this is move. If I have stuff going on here, I don't want this to get stuck. But I guess I could just move up, down. We'll see if I can do this just in 1 cell. I'm not positive if I can or not. And then those will, and then whatever comes from above, it'll move down. So then, so whatever this one gets, will descend down. Now let's work on the next part of this. So we have, so the color we're going to do is white, which is 3. So we already are good. We're already good with that. And I guess we also want to move that right. So right now, this incrementer that we have is, so this incrementer is already set to 30. So really I need this one to be the other value. So the big loop is going to be here. So let's actually just change these values. So loop 1 is there, loop 2 is here, and that's this. So this value, this is how far over to go. So that when this value is set here, that's how far over to go. So the first value we get is X and Y, okay. Next value is width. So that when this thing starts, actually I don't need if I need that. We'll keep that L1 for now. So we want to move up into the register. The thing we're going to want to do first is, yeah, okay, so then I'll take that and I'll put it in the, I'll save it. And then I want to move up into the register. And this is how far over to go. Yeah, so I will need the loop, but actually I should do this. So then what this is going to do is, what is this for? Oh, this is the beginning coordinates. So we don't actually need that. This thing's job is just to loop through the thing. Okay, so the thing in our hand, the second thing we have is the oh, actually, that's interesting. Yeah. So the first two we get is the first coordinates, but it's there. They will need to actually increment that count. We'll need to increment the y. Okay, well, I'll just have this thing draw a line and then increment down, and then we'll move on to the other thing. So here, the second value that's currently going into this thing is the width. No, it's the height. The second thing is the height. But what we want first is, okay, so now we have the width is the first thing. So we're going to, right away, we're going to add 1 to it. I feel like we want to subtract 1 from it. So this is saying, oh, I guess the height's right. Yeah, okay, never mind. We want the height first. So we're going to subtract 1 from the height. So if the height is, in this case, let's see, so there's 4 values related to it. So the height is 5. The height's 5. So what we want is it to draw a box that's 5 tall. So we're going to subtract 1 from it. And then swap. We want this to be set. We need to hold on to it. Yeah. So I can decrement down, but I need a variable to hold on to. Okay, so let's also, if we save this, will this save this program? If I do return to the list, okay, that'll still save stuff. Let's get our the thing we already wrote before for storing a value where it will output. No, that's not the one we want. Trying to remember which one. One of these ones I have. Yes, okay. So I want this code. That will save me some time. So we can go back here. This one? No, this one here. So this is a buffer where I can send in a value. If the value is positive, it'll store it. If the value is negative, it will spit back whatever the stored value is. If the number is 0, there's special handling, although I don't think I'm going to worry about that. Yeah, okay. So come in here. This is the very top of the whole program. We're going to store, let's say, the width over here. Which one makes the most sense? I think storing the width over here. So the first thing we get is the width. So we're going to take it, move, I guess just move it left. So now our width is over here. So this is our width. There. And then, so we're going to take it and move it over there right away. So we don't need to worry about that. Although I guess we could save it. We might want it. No, I guess we're going to loop anyway. And then we take the thing above and we put it in our hand, which is the height. So the height is what we're going to store in the backup. So we're going to subtract 1 from the height and then save it. And then we're going to move, this used to be 30, I think. So this is the counter for how far over to go. So we want the width and here. So move left, or yeah, I'm sorry. Move -1 left, which tells this thing, hey, I want that value. Comes over here, puts it in, does a loop where it's going to move right. Move the 3, move the, this is how many times it's going to move, or put, this loop is going to paint the line going across at wherever the coordinates are. In this case, you know, those coordinates there for that number. Once that's done, then we want to swap if the number is greater than 1, loop back, and if it isn't, then you get here. So then you swap. Now you have your height back in the thing. And then we want to I think just jump. Oh, yeah, that's right. We want -1 to also go over there. Okay, so it's already good. So then it gets to here, and then we want to loop back to, or jump back to L1. So it goes back to here, subtracts 1. But what it should do either here or potentially the next line down is that I mean, I need to resend the coordinates over. So if I were to, how complicated? So where would I store the coordinates? Because the coordinates that are here need to keep on moving down. Right. Yeah, I need to, well, so that noise. the x can stay the same each time. So values come in. So something like this. I will need to, gosh. So this works fairly well, sort of, for drawing a line across, but then I need to send the -1 and then send over new x coordinates. I'm storing the width over here. I don't need the output logic for this. This is just a place where I can store that, so I can get rid of output in this case, right? Yeah. So we can reduce the size a little bit, and then this doesn't need to jump anymore. So now this is a little bit smaller. This is where the width is stored. But I need to send a new x coordinate. I need to send the x and y when this happens. So I might need something else to loop as well, possibly. If the y, let's see. I also need to know when this thing's done. I guess when this thing gets to, when it gets to 0, go to done. And then done is something. I don't know. I don't know what done is. I guess it loops back to the very top. So that actually might work. Does this work? Oh, and okay. Because then I want it to loop back up to the top, where it's going to absorb stuff from above. Okay. But that's still not going to work right. Right. Let me think. So the top. The Y needs to change each time. I guess I could have this thing just in charge of the width. To go through the cycle of the width. However many times and spit out the value. Let's try that. So let's just hold on to this over here for now. This thing's job is it's going to get an X and Y and a width. So it's going to get 3 values. So do I need to worry about I could do that, but I mean, I'll put it up here. So this thing's job is just going to be, it's going to get an X and Y and width, and it will cycle through. So I'm going to get the X, and then just pass that down. And then I'm going to get the Y, pass that down. I don't care. Next thing I get is going to be the width. So I don't need the outer loop. All I really need is up to this point. So let's get rid of the outer loop. Right? Maybe. Possibly. So I'm going to subtract 1 from the width. If that is greater than 0, I go back to the loop. Once it's done, I'm going to send a 1 down, saying I'm done with this row. And then I go back to the beginning. This guy's job is move up, right. This guy's new job is left, down. Okay, so now this guy needs to be in charge of, it's just going to send the X down. And it's going to store the width there. And then it's going to increment the height based on a loop. So let's see if we do this. So the width will need to send down. The height. So I'll need to store one, probably because I can store 2 values here. I'll need to keep track of 3 values for this. So we're also going to just store the X here because we're not going to be really messing with it. So I need to make sure move up. So this is tagging up. So we want to go left, left. And then over here, I need to go right and right. Okay. So here we're going to store X. Here we're storing width. So the first thing that's going to happen when we first start is move X right. Oh, sorry. Move up right. And then we're going to move Y into our register. And then save it. And then we're going to move the width to the left. And then move the height into our hand. Okay. So So now we don't need any of this stuff. So then our big loop, this one is for each line. So it's going to say we want to pass down 3 values to this guy. The width. So let's space this out. So the first thing we're going to send down is the X. So move right down. So that's saying send the X value. The Y value is the thing that we're incrementing. So we want to increment it based on the height. Yeah, so about that. So the last thing we have here is the height. That's currently what's in our hand. So we kind of need to... Oh, dear. Huh. I need to take the Y, the starting Y value, which is what's in my back. And I need to, when we first start, I just need to get it. So I'm going to send that down. The Y value, I'm going to move I need to swap. So now Y is in my hand. I want to move my hand down. So now it knows the Y. I want to edit. I want to add 1 to the Y. Which I could just do. Add. That's not how you spell add. And then I need to jump. Let's see. So add 1 to it. If so I have the height. The height I don't really need to hold on to. It's more of just an increment. Okay. So so at this point I have the height in my hand. I want to subtract 1 from the height. Okay, all right, well, here, we'll see. If this makes it too tall, we'll rearrange some of this stuff. I think I'm onto something. So here I want to move right down. So X, I get the Y, I send the Y down, I add 1 to the Y for next time. And then here I'm going to then swap. So now I have the width or the height in my hand. And then I'm going to subtract 1 from the height. If it is equal to 0, then I'm done. And I want to start over. Somehow I need to tell this thing I'm done, though. Maybe not. Because this thing's going to know when it's done. This thing only cares about... Okay, that's fine. All right, so if... Okay. So if the... if it is 0, I'm done drawing each of the lines. So what I want to do is jump to start. And the reason why because I'm going to put something else here. Otherwise, I want to jump to the loop. So start is up here. So we'll just say S, so we can keep everything on the same line. S is the start. Okay, but there's something else we need to do in here. What was it? I need to send values down. Because here I've sent nothing. Have I sent anything down? I've sent this down. This is each of the lines. So this is the loop here. What is this value? So the first thing I did is I sent X, Y, and now we just need to send down the width. Okay, that's not too bad. So then move -1. I'm sorry, move, yeah, -1 left. So tell it I want it. Move left down. So we're out of space, but I think that this might work. So what this is saying is that if it's decrementing the height here, so I guess we have to make sure that it knows that we have the height in our hand at this point. Move right down. Swap. Yes. Okay, I think this is good. Maybe. Okay, so deadlock. Interesting. Move right down. We didn't send this -1. So we are out of space. Because I can't just pull it. I need to send it -1 first. Or, given that we're never going to change, no, we are going to change the X. Never mind. I was going to say, given that we never change the X, we could just keep it. But that's not true. So I need to try to send it -1 somehow. Well, so the other possibility is that I can have the output thing, where so if it's 0, it's going to send it down. So this is going to receive it from different spots. I'm going to be using up a lot of space if I do that, though. I'm already going to be at, I mean, this is junk, but I'm already going to be at 6. Right? Is that how you count? Yeah, 6. Okay. So is there something I can do in here to optimize this by one line? I don't think so. So if this one goes back to the start, maybe we can adjust this to say if it's equal to 0, we want to go back to the beginning. So if it's greater than 0, go to L1. Otherwise, it's going to go back up to the start. I think that might work. So then here we can say move -1 right. I think that'll work. Let's try. Deadlock. Oh. Why? Move left to the thing. What's happening? So so I moved -1 to the right. Huh. I moved -1 to the right. Because I want this value. Why didn't it respond? If the value is less than that, retrieve the value. I'm confused. Okay, let's go. I guess we'll step through the program because that wasn't very far into it that it screwed up. So once we get to here, we'll do a breakpoint. Okay, so at this point we have a 4 over here, which is the width. That's great. Why don't we have... Oh, it is stored. Okay, it's stored over there. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, all right. So, step. So I send -1 over. It's here. Is it going to go to retrieve? Yes. It swaps it, gets the value, moves it to the left. And then I sent it down. Okay, great. It's sending 10. Where was it freaking out? Okay. I'm sending it -1. It's sending it back to me. Confused why. If it sends it back to me, if there's -1, why would this ever lock here? Move -1 to the right. If the value I got was less than 0, go to return, which swaps them, and then sends it to me to the left. Okay, I guess we'll have to step through again. I don't know why it's locking up. Probably something simple. Okay, so what was the number it had when it locked up? Oh, I guess it was still in the first thing. Okay, so it's looping back up. Send it -1. It goes into the retrieve step. It's sending the thing to the left. It sends it down. Okay. Oh, it's because this guy's not listening right now. Okay, let's think about this. So is this thing not looping properly? So it's moving 3 to the right, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, amazing. Let's take out the breakpoint and let's see what happens. And go. So we're sending a bunch of values down. It's drawing in the box. It's drawing in another box. Oh my god, this looks promising, guys. Ooh. Okay, so now that that's the case, let me just take out all this garbage. Go. It's drawing. It's like a dot matrix printer. So we'll see how this compares lines of code to SP and see if, I mean, this test, it seems like it's working. We'll see if it fails on the next test. Okay, good. Amazing. All right, I'm going to just speed it up. Yeah. Okay, so we have slightly more cycles. Oh, he did it in 4. Oh, man. Oh, but I have less lines of code. How interesting. He did it in 4 cells. I mean, it is not necessarily the same program, but it's interesting that I have less lines of code, but he used less cells. I'm not going to edit this now. He used less cells, 4 cells. I mean, I guess, no, I don't know how he would, I don't know how he does that, because even just to get there is 4. So he must not do this sort of thing I'm doing, where I'm like, have a variable basically, which is extremely handy. But yeah, it takes up a cell. Interesting. Or, you know, a node. Okay, anyway. Whew. That was a challenge. All right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time.